like that.
Yeah. Semper definitely finding a lot more success in Legacy of the Void, possibly because of that, but we are going to be spawning up here in the top right-hand corner of the map on top of the green Protoss player. Give it up for puCK.
Nice little intro there. And spawning down in the bottom left position from the team Gravity, representing the Terran race, it is Semper. Looking so strong in that last game. Absolutely just incredible play.
Yeah, and of course I do want to give a quick shout out to my man Desro doing the observing for us here today. I know Endersword also has been doing so much observing, did an absurd amount of observing, so I want to give a shout out to both of them. And of course, if you do want to show some love to those observers, give me a my man in the chat.
My man.
My man.
Slow down. All right, looks like we are going to go for a racks into CC from Semper, once again delaying that gas until after the command center is thrown down. While on the other hand, we have puCK going for that gate gas nexus that he's been favoring so much throughout the tournament.
Yeah, it's not surprising at all to see. And you know what? I would be surprised if we didn't see a fast factory coming out from Semper, getting ready to potentially go into that medevac harassment that he loves oh so dearly.
Yes, it really, on the last map, he actually went so defensive with those Vikings and with that Cyclone. And it ended up, he took one big shot from the Disruptor, but after that, the Cyclone actually got taken down. Or sorry, the Cyclone actually took down the Disruptor. And from that point, it was just Semper in control of the game.
Yeah. And there was no point where really puCK was able to reassert that sort of aggression and that pressure that he likes to do. But we do end up seeing, I believe, a slight little proxy pylon, you might say.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this one's not going to be a proxy robo. I am almost certain this will be a proxy Stargate. We do see Semper going for that double gas at this point. Probably going to do what you said, which is go for that factory with that first 100 gas. Yes, is going to be proxy Stargate.
Yeah.
Have to assume this is going to be Oracles. Can't imagine it's anything else.
You know what's so funny is if you would, the easiest way to know if the players could actually hear us, if there was some sort of sound problem or something, which there clearly isn't, is that puCK would have heard you and he would have built the robo anyways, because that's the kind of person he is.
That is the kind of person he is. He's a cheeky guy, a bit of a troll.
Yo.
He's,
Steadfast, you need to settle down. Settle down, Steadfast, settle down. That's something. If you ever talk to puCK, he will just tell you that. You'll be like, "Hey, puCK, I'm a huge fan." Settle down. Just settle down.
Just settle down, chat. Settle down.
Settle down.
He's a funny guy, is puCK. He's very, very friendly.
Really, really great guy.
Yeah.
But we do have, again, Fast Factory coming out over here for Semper. Will he go for the safety Cyclone?
That's a good question. Looks like he is getting that tech lab, so I wouldn't be surprised if he does. Actually, puCK going to manage to get in with this this Adept Shade.
Wow.
Actually going to go all the way into the natural, and this is a really nice start for puCK.
Yeah, if he even kills off one or two of these Marines, that's also going to make it harder, I would say, for Semper to deal with the aggression, because his Marine count is already fairly low.
Even just drawing these Marines out of position is nice as the Oracle is about to come into the main base. Oh, puCK knows exactly what he's doing. Meanwhile, the Oracle coming to the mineral line, getting 2 workers already. Wow, that's actually a really great play from puCK.
Yeah, going to be able to kill off a couple more. 7 workers killed. Even might be able to kill off a Marine. No, not quite able to get it. But still, that Oracle is well and alive. Has so much health left over.
Oh,
going to have
so cool.
Great opportunities for more aggression. But, oh, Semper, you are a man after my heart. You know what? We got a proxy Stargate and we got a proxy command center.
I love it. Going proxy for proxy. We do see the second Oracle actually coming in, but this time Semper, his Marines are pretty well in position and going to force that away. Actually, the Cyclone.
Safety Cyclone.
Nice job there. That's really nice for Semper. puCK still does have that 1 Oracle, so going to be able to keep that utility, keep harassing, forcing up the missile turret even.
Yeah.
But more importantly, I feel going to be able to get Revelation. Oh, wow, even getting 3 more workers.
No, so
the
aggressive.
lock-on. Are we going to see a scan? No, does stay alive.
Yeah. Semper said, I threw down enough scans last game. I'm going to let this one slide. But we do have a Twilight Council coming down behind this. And I will also note the Siege Tanks, a really big mix-up from any of the previous games we've seen from Semper.
Yeah, it feels like he likes to get sometimes those defensive anchor Siege Tanks. He did this on Dusk Towers versus Desro.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he never moved out with them. He only used them to keep himself safe. and I believe the number was 3, and it worked out really well for him when Desro actually blinked forward, and the tanks had never been revealed really until that point in the matchup, and then he just got shelled down, the Stalkers, by those tanks.
Yeah, actually, you know, I'm starting to remember, and I take back what I said. We have seen it. It's just, but as you were saying, we have seen so little of the siege tanks playing a big impact. And I think actually the game that I'm remembering now is when puCK was, I believe, on like Ruins of Saros trying to push it. Oh, the Oracle! What? Okay, I have got to say, puCK is probably scratching and saying, what were those Marines doing there?
Yeah, and you can't even say that that's weird because the Oracle, there's no way to predict the Oracle is going to come down that way. So. Yeah. They just happen to be in a nice position. Maybe thinking that the Oracle might be scouting for the gold base or going into check for the hidden base. Yeah. I have no idea why they were there, but those were the most intelligent psychic Marines I've seen.
They definitely did their job, and we do have a 3rd expansion coming on the way for Semper, a bit later than puCK's 3rd expansion, which is already finished up and pretty well saturated at this point. But as the Adepts move around on the map, just killing off any Marines, killing off any potential scouts, and I wonder, there's no way that puCK would actually have any sort of idea, any sort of inkling that this 3rd expansion has already been taken for Semper.
No, I can't imagine he knows that there's a top left, a base hidden in the top left. That's just so weird, but it is interesting that that's where the proxies have been in both games where there were proxy bases.
But the Adept moves in over here and sees how late the 3rd expansion is, and he may think that this...
You may think something's up.
Yeah.
That's, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. We do see a nice little drop coming into the main. Going to not yet pick off any workers. There's one going down. And a couple Marines. Actually warping in quite a few Adepts, though. That awkward moment when you phase 2 feet from your original position.
Yeah, it's just like, I blinked back 2 feet.
Yeah. It's when Goku's first learning instant transmission, and he instant transmissions from his couch to the fridge.
I mean, even after I've learned instant transmission for quite a bit of time, that would still be probably my most frequent use.
That would definitely be my most frequent use. So useful.
Absolutely.
We do see Storm actually coming out from puCK and that Resonating Glaives, as well as +1 armor, but the upgrades look to be at a slight advantage for Semper. No, it looks like they're both at +1 attack.
Yeah, both at +1 attack, but at the +1 armor, a little bit further ahead for Semper. It's not a huge lead, but it is a nice little lead. And of course, armory is already finished up for Semper, so yeah, he's starting up that +2 weapons as well.
Yeah, that's going to allow him, since there's no second forge, to take to take a nice little upgrade lead. Is pushing across the map with a little bit of an attack. Sees those 2 High Templar with the scan, and has to be thinking, okay, I'll just get some map control, put a Marine on this 4th base, and I'm not going to overcommit.
Yeah, but puCK actually going to be put on a little bit of pressure as he finds this expansion, maybe by accident, and going to be doing some nice damage, denying the mining at one of these bases. But of course, this is an extra base. It wasn't even a base that is now super critical because he's going to be falling behind at this point. No, that was his 3rd expansion. He has a new 3rd expansion he can take, and he has an extra orbital.
Yeah, and he can just move that down to a natural 4th location.
Yeah.
And it's not even that big a deal. Command centers fly pretty fast, saved most of the SCVs.
This is the equivalent of a Protoss player having one of their expansions sieged up by a Liberator for a little bit. It's just you stop mining for a little bit, but then you just go straight back to it.
Yeah, exactly. That's a really good way of putting it even.
But Adept upgrade have actually finished up, and we have the Ghost coming up. I love this from Semper. He's one of, again, these few Terran players that still goes to the Ghost, despite how hard of a controlling unit it can be.
Yes, this is actually going to be a very aggressive push coming from puCK. We see a lot of Adepts with that army, Resonating Glaives just finishing up, and a lot of High Templar. 4 Immortals even, those pack a punch.
This is just a scary looking army, but this is, as you were saying, oh, okay, Semper does finally show a little bit of, I don't know, I wouldn't even call it cowardice or something, but oh, here we go. We might be seeing the big engagement. puCK, very, very conservative with the storms, though.
Yeah, those were some big EMPs on almost the entire army. There's only 1 storm for puCK, and it needs to hit like a miracle if he wants to win the game right here.
Well, you know, he still does have a very strong army, even without the storms. As long as he doesn't take too much damage from those Widow Mines, I could still see puCK really pushing on in, getting some good shades off with those Adepts, getting on top of that Bioforce and just not getting them anywhere to run.
I would really not like to see this attack, I don't think.
Oh, now with the SeaShanks over there, SeaShanks going to be just absolutely tearing through the Adepts, but also doing a bit of splash damage to the Marine Marauder Force. SCV is being pulled. A lot of them end up going down very quickly, and the Immortal's also going to be able to take a lot of these shots, I would say.
Yeah, and puCK gets absolutely annihilated in that fight.
Yeah, we end up seeing he has to retreat on out, but at the same time, he did a lot of damage to the working. At the same time, though, we take a look. It's 64 probes to 60 workers.
Oh, trying to get out with those 2 Immortals, but the Liberators might just run it down, and they do take down.
Oh, Cyclone overcommitting.
Yeah, just a little bit.
EMP going down on some of those Immortals, maybe making them a little bit vulnerable for the Marines to stim on forward, sniping off one of them. Might be able to snipe out that second one, but another Storm is joining up this force.
Semper calling down the Mule.
Oh my God! Is that? I think that actually might be a repairing mule.
Repair,
I think that is not a manner mule. That is a repairing mule, which I really do like. Those Liberators can add so much value to this. Oh, got to be careful of the Storms though.
Yeah, but I think that was puCK's maybe only Storm.
Oh. Yeah, and the High Templar ends up dying. There's no more High Templars being warped in. Additional scans going down. He's just like, wait, is that really that? And let me double check that that's all the army you have, because I'm about to go in. Gets the great EMPs off again. The Immortals losing their hardened shields, and now suddenly Semper has an opportunity of attack.
Yes, and it looks like Semper is going to be potentially advancing forward here with a 2-0 over puCK, pushing through on the right-hand side. That EMP doing so much damage to the army.
Liberator sieging up very, very aggressively. We could be seeing it. Semper getting so close. Blink forward. The Widowmine's going off on top of all of the Stalkers, though. puCK's army evaporates, and I think that we are going to see it. We are going to see Semper advance on with the 2-0 victory over puCK. The Dark Horse strikes again.
And showing why we picked him to do so well in this tournament, really turning it on against puCK in Game 1 and in Game 2. puCK trying to hold on valiantly, but down almost 100 army supply, and there's just no way he's going to be able to hold on in the long term. Just so well played from Semper.
I mean, at this point, Semper can, walk those Widowmines forward. He can walk them into the mineral and just kill off every single worker, but he doesn't need to. Semper takes the game as puCK taps on out.
GG, well played. Semper being just an absolute force right there. He's got to be feeling so happy about that. Kind of a breakout tournament for him, wouldn't you say?
I would say it has been a breakout tournament for him. The Dark Horse, the Hover Horse, the Dark Hawk is striking again. And moving on to the Losers Finals, I believe. The first Losers Finals. The Losers
semifinals.
Oh, yeah, going to be playing versus, I believe, Scarlet.
Ooh, that's going to be a rematch of their series. A very epic series before. Scarlet managed to eke it out just barely 2-1 in an incredibly good series. If you want to watch a really good game, go back and watch Central Protocol of that series.
Oh boy, that entire game, and first of all, seeing Central Protocol was weird enough, but then that entire game ended up being a macro game on Central Protocol, which I think maybe has only happened in 4 games of StarCraft ever. And I'm considering the latter games that people play that we have never seen, that were never broadcasted. I think there's probably been 4 macro games.
That sounds pretty accurate. I was just so impressed with how patient and methodical, but still just how much of a beast he was with his multitask. There was multiple times where
let's actually see some of that again.
Yeah, 3 or 4 drops going down around the map.
Yeah. Really, really cool, and we are going to jump back into that and see a bit of a recap over here from Semper versus puCK, getting a feel for just what you might be in store for later on if he ends up facing, I don't know, facing off in a grand finals or something versus Neeb, if that ends up being the case. But yeah, we had that big harassment, or I should say the big move-in over here from Semper in that first game.
Yeah, picking off that robotics facility. Didn't do a ton of damage here, just barely getting the disruptor down before the Purification Nova procced, as it were, and would have basically killed that entire army. Very calculated from Semper. Meanwhile, as he was doing that, pushing into the fourth base and sniping down those High Templar before they could storm.
That was so important, being able to do that, and also getting off some great EMPs over here, killing or EMPing some of the High Templars, and I believe some of the ghosts from the high ground end up actually throwing down some EMPs on the remaining High Templar. That was another really big play.
Yes, and this was after Semper had drawn puCK's army to the 4th base, came in with a big army, and here was the final engagement, recognizing that puCK was completely all in, pulling the boys, doing just such a great job. Just really good game sense and awareness to recognize, okay, I just need to hold this attack, throw the SCVs in, giving him a little bit of extra damage and tanking.
And of course in game 2 we did see that proxy expansion coming down. He almost gets that Oracle, didn't quite get it. But I would say actually this is the really, really big last engagement where those Adepts, I was actually a little bit surprised. I was thinking, you know, those siege tanks, they're doing a lot of damage to those Adepts. It became a really, really scary moment. But, you know, if he gets on top of that Bioforce with the Archons, maybe he can make it work. But it didn't quite end up working out for puCK. And the big EMPs in that final engagement, this is where I think we were starting to say Semper was just pulling on forward with that giant flow, that giant energetic energy that he had acquired from the earlier engagement.
Yes, really, really powering up. You saw that EMP hit. I'm pretty sure it hit every unit in that Protoss army. That might have been the perfect EMP. And once again, hitting so many Adepts with that EMPs, that EMP, Semper's EMPs, just being so on point. This entire tournament, even hammering the hail, hammering the nail down into the coffin with that last little snipe of the +2 armor.
Yeah.
And Semper's got to be so pleased with himself right now.
Yeah, I am actually very, very happy for him. Big congratulations to him. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be handing it off to Troy Pavlik with our final interview for the day with Semper.
I'm here over in the player area with Semper. He's going to be advancing to play Scarlet and moving on in the tournament. But Desro, he was observing, and he's got a couple questions for Semper. So, Desro, take it off.
All right, so your first push when you were on 3 base was pretty scary on Orbital. You got 2 Liberators snipe in the middle of the map, which, you know, it happens. But I was really wondering, after that you sort of traded 4 more Liberators for a lot of Stalkers. You think that was a mistake? Do you think that was smart? I mean, it took a lot of Stalkers. I was wondering what you think.
Alright, so basically I scanned the army, and I thought he was going to counterattack me. That's why I sent the Libs behind the middle line. So I was hoping to do more damage, but I think it was a fine trade. To be honest, after you siege the Libs, you don't even pay attention to them. You just go back and macro and kind of do another attack. So I'm not even sure how much they killed.
I hope David is listening. In game 1, you kept doing a lot of multi-prong, and you always had a spotter, like a Zealot or an Adept, to see your pushes coming in, but you still did really well. You think that's what made you win that game 1?
Yeah, you always want to multi-prong against Protoss unless you get the big lead, and then you can just, like in the second game, I just selected all army and killed him. But if you don't have a big lead, you always want to counterattack, especially against Tempest, because they're so slow. Yeah, so I think that's what won me the game, yeah.
Your playstyle, I think I've played a few players that play like you, but very, very few. The no gas into double gas into what is it, Cyclone? Is it something new? Is it something old? Is it just something you feel comfortable in? What do you think of? Because it seems like it's always the same opener that you do in TVP. What do you think?
It's actually an old opening by KT Roaster TY. So that's who I took it from, and I think it's pretty good because it gives you a faster command center than a Reaper. And you know, Reapers are pretty bad. They die to like 2 Mothership core shots. Yeah, pretty much. So I'd like to not go Reaper if I can. And on Dust Towers and Orbital Shipyard, that build is very strong.
So hold on, one more. So on Dust Tower, you went for a hidden command center. That's something that I heard that you don't do at all ever. Did it feel off to be mixing in like a 4th command center that early to like keep the illusion that you were like a late 3rd base and all that?
It felt really off. Like I kept muling my natural, and I was like, well, why am I muling my natural? I should be muling my new base. Yeah. But I kept forgetting. At the same time, though, if he had an observer at my natural, he would see mules, and that would be good because he would not suspect my hidden base. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was really weird to have that much economy. I liked it.
Yeah. puCK taught me never to yield my mic in an interview, and I still didn't learn. But Semper, you're going up against Scarlet next. What are your thoughts? Are you confident against Scarlet? Do you think you can take her out and move on, or are you a bit skeevy on your ZVT against her?
Actually, I don't know what's going on. Like against Scarlet, I always lose on ladder, but at this tournament, I'm like 3-3 against her. So I've been doing a lot better against her than I usually do. So I think I can win. I just have to play well.
All right. Well, at the start, we called you the dark horse of the tournament, and it's paying off. So we look forward to seeing you in moving on in the winners bracket finals. All right, my man, you get one more.
Well, it's actually a little bit of national pride. Well, not national, provincial pride. He's French Canadian, but I feel like a lot of people don't know about Semper and don't know that fact. So maybe if you have some French words for our audience that might be proud that you're from Quebec.
Oh, bah. Bon, ben, merci d'écouter mes games. Puis je vais essayer d'aller plus loin. Puis c'est ça.
Yeah.
All right, we're heading back to Steadfast and Ravi to close up the show. Thanks for tuning in, and heading over to the caster desk to end it off.
I don't know what he said, man, but I'm excited. I'm excited for tomorrow.
I am too. I'm pretty sure he said, I know a bit of French. I'm pretty sure he said something about destroy the English overlords, overthrow the queen, long live Jean Chrétien.
Yeah, and I also think I heard 3-0 Scarlet, 3-0 Neeb.
Yeah, that sounds about right too. Hopefully he's going to be able to get that that fourth map as well against Neeb in the grand
hopefully,
final. Yeah,
I mean, he'll go 3-0, and then he was saying, yeah, then I'm going to lose 4 games in a row. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be wrapping it up for the day. If you guys want to take a look, we are going to be having the last couple of matches happening tomorrow. And you can check out the bracket as we end up seeing, yes, Semper versus Scarlet. Going to be our first match of the day, followed up by Masa versus Neeb in that winners semifinal, or winners finals. And, of course, we do close things out as we finish up the remaining matches for that grand total prize. But, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. I want to give a huge shout out to Corsair Gaming that makes the event possible, as well as ESChamp, which I know has done a lot of great stuff, and of course has run the production for the entire event. And of course, I do want to give one final shout out to that Indiegogo, which I believe is now up to a whopping $1,630. So if you guys want to contribute to that, go ahead and check out the MooBot that has been posting the link in the chat, and you can contribute to that. And if we reach 2,000 Canadian dollars, it will add a total of $500 to the prize pool. But I think with that being said, that is pretty much it. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. My name has been Fear Dragon. This is, of course, Steadfast, and we are going to be seeing you guys tomorrow. We hope to see you there at 10 a.m. sharp. Take care.